Now back to the government's new plan to stop asylum boat arrivals by setting up a regional processing centre in East Timor. The opposition is also talking about new measures to determine genuine refugees. Well, John Gibson is the president of the Refugee Council of Australia and he joins me now from Melbourne. John Gibson, let's start with the government. As we've just heard, Julia Gillard's basically saying if you arrive in Australia, here's a ticket to Dili. Is that really an option?
Yes, it is, and let me say three things about what she said. The first is that she acknowledged, which is the first sign of real statesmanship from a Prime Minister for a very long time, acknowledging and recognising why people leave their countries of origin and seek protection elsewhere, and putting the numbers who come to Australia in an international context and in the context of our migration program. That's the first point. The second point is that what she is proposing is, unlike the Nauru solution, which the former government had, she's proposing a positive change of policy involving a regional processing centre and adopting the sort of approach which we've been suggesting for a long, long time, which is increased regional and global cooperation, a regional global solution, clearly involving other international partners, other settlement countries like New Zealand, Canada, one assumes the US, and improving protection space, in other words, the quality of protection for asylum seekers in our near neighbourhood. And from our perspective, this is a positive thing. She also said that this is aimed to essentially reduce the flow of boats so that people will not need to get onto boats to come to Australia because they will go to this regional processing centre. They will be processed under international guidelines and with the assistance of UNHCR, and then one assumes that steps will be taken to ensure at some time in the future that they will be resettled in third countries.
Well, let's look at the opposition because they've also launched some of their policy today. They're saying one of their strategies is to restore the temporary visas from the previous Liberal government. Also, they're giving more power to their immigration minister to grant or reject visas.
Yeah, and they're also come up with a proposal to invalidate any claims made by people who arrive without documentation or have thrown them away. In 2003, 2004, an exactly the same proposal was introduced into the House, and after a Senate Select Committee, that proposal, identical in form, was withdrawn by the then government. I don't know why they are now thinking of reintroducing something which they themselves considered would not work and would be contrary to the convention. As far as the other proposal, which was the ministerial discretion, then that again is a retrograde step. I think you need to have prescriptive and clearly understood guidelines and act in accordance with international refugee law. And sorry, Tracy, what was the third point?
Also, he was going to restore the temporary protection visas that the last government had.
Well, look, one thing is absolutely clear, and the statistics bear this out, that when TPVs were introduced in 1999, over the next 2 years, the number of women and children who took to the boats to rejoin or join their husbands or fathers who couldn't bring them to Australia under the terms of the TPV visa, 4 times that number arrived over that period of time. In other words, it increased 4-fold. Now, that is absolutely clear that TPVs were an incentive to people undertaking irregular movements to seek protection in Australia. It is extraordinary that the opposition is yet again dredging up a policy which was a failed policy. There were good reasons why the current government abolished TPVs, and they should stay
John
abolished.
Gibson, thanks very much.
Thank you.